Hello my dear students, today we will study about continuous charge distribution. If we have continuous charge distribution, if charge is distributed continuously in one dimensional space or in two dimensional space or in three dimensional space, then here it is difficult to describe the effect of these charges using superposition principle. Therefore, we use the concept of charge density. If charge is distributed in one dimensional space, then we have to take linear charge density. If it is distributed in two dimensional space, then we have to take surface charge density. If it is distributed in three dimensional space, then we have to take surface charge density. So now we have to see three different types of charge distribution: linear charge distribution, surface charge distribution, and volume charge distribution. First, we have to understand about linear charge distribution. If charge is distributed along a one dimensional space on curve or on line, then we have to use the concept of linear charge density. See here, as shown in figure, charge is distributed continuously on one wire, and we want to determine the force acting on charge Q0. Here we have placed test charge. Due to this charge distribution, due to this whole charge distribution, we have to find net force on test charge Q0. So we can find total force due to first charge, second charge, third charge, fourth charge, but it will be very difficult for us to find net force. So we have to take the help of charge density. When charge is distributed on one wire in one dimensional space, then we have to take linear charge density. Linear charge density is the ratio of charge to length. So charge per unit length is called a linear charge density. Lambda is equal to total charge on this wire is, let us say, Q, and length of this wire is L. Then linear charge density is equal to Q by L. If we consider small element on this wire having length dl and charge on this small element is, let me take dq, then linear charge density lambda is equal to dq by dl. This charge distribution can be uniform or it can be non-uniform. If it is uniform, then value of lambda will be constant. But if the charge distribution is not uniform, then value of lambda will be different for different portion of the wire. SI unit of linear charge density is coulomb per meter. Unit of charge, that is coulomb, upon unit of length, that is meter. So unit of lambda, that is coulomb meter inverse. If we make dq subject, then dq is equal to lambda dl. dq is equal to lambda dl. The force acting on charge Q0 due to dq. We have to find force acting on charge Q0 due to charge contained in this small element, that is dq. If we consider charge contained in this small element as very small charge, point charge, then force acting between 2 point charges is given by Coulomb's law. F is equal to k q1 q2 upon r square. So the force acting on charge Q0 due to dq is equal to dF factor is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1, that is test charge, into dq, that is charge contained in small element, upon distance between them, square of distance between them, r square, into direction of force due to positive charge will be in the direction of r cap. So dF factor is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q0 dq upon r square into r cap. In order to calculate total force, if we have to find total force due to this continuous charge distribution, then total force is given by F factor is equal to integration of dF factor. We can find total force because charge distribution is continuous. Therefore, if we have to find the summation of the small forces, that can be found using integration calculus method. Integration of dF factor is equal to integration 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 q0 dq upon r square into r cap. L, that is the integration over entire length of the wire. Here q0, that is value of test charge, that is constant. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, that is constant. So we can take it out of the integration. Q0 upon 4 pi epsilon naught integration over entire length into dq already we found, dq is equal to lambda dl upon r square into r cap. If we have to find electric field due to the line charge distribution at the location of test charge, then electric field is equal to force upon test charge. Already we found the force. Divide this force by test charge q naught, then you will get 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught integration over entire length lambda dl upon r square into r cap. If charge distribution is uniform, then value of lambda will be constant. If lambda is constant, you can take it out. Second, surface charge distribution. It is charge distribution spread over a two-dimensional surface in space. If charge is distributed in two-dimensional space like this, suppose charge is distributed on any surface having surface area S, and if we consider small element and charge contained in this small element is dq, and we want to find its effect on test charge q naught, which is placed at a distance r. So position vector is r vector. Surface charge density is the charge per unit area. Linear charge density is charge per unit length. Surface charge density is charge per unit area. Therefore, sigma is equal to charge per unit area q by surface area, that is S, is equal to, if we have considered small element having surface area ds, for that surface charge density is given by charge per unit area, charge that is dq upon area of that element, that is ds. Unit of surface charge density is coulomb per meter square. Unit of charge, that is coulomb. Unit of area, that is meter square. So coulomb per meter square. The charge contained in small area element ds is, if we make dq subject, then dq is equal to sigma ds. And if we have to find total force exerted on q naught due to entire surface, then it is given by F vector is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square into r cap. q1, that is test charge q naught, integration, we are finding total force, so integration over entire surface S, q2, that is small dq is equal to sigma ds upon r square into r cap. If we have to find electric field at r vector due to this entire surface, then electric field E vector is equal to F vector by q naught, and that is, divide this equation by q naught, that will give you electric field 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught integration sigma upon r square ds into r cap. If charge distribution is uniform, then this sigma will be uniform and you can take it out. Third, that is volume charge distribution. If charge is spread over a three-dimensional space, then we have to find volume charge density. Volume charge density is charge per unit volume. Once again, linear charge density, charge per unit length. Surface charge density, charge per unit area. Volume charge density, that is charge per unit volume. It is denoted by rho. Volume charge density is denoted by rho. Linear charge density is denoted by lambda. Surface charge density is denoted by sigma. So rho is equal to charge per unit volume. Charge, that is q, volume, that is v. If we consider small element, then it is dq by dv. Unit will be coulomb per meter cube. Unit of charge, that is coulomb. Unit of volume, length into breadth into height, that will give you meter cube. So coulomb per meter cube is the unit of volume charge density. As shown in figure, charge is distributed in three-dimensional space, and here I have considered small element having volume dv, and charge contained in this small element is dq, and we want to find force on this test charge q naught, which is at distance r. So position vector, that is r vector. The charge contained in small volume dv is equal to, dq is equal to volume charge density rho into small volume, that is dv. Total electrostatic force exerted on charge q naught due to the entire volume is given by F vector is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square. q1, that is q naught, integration, because we are finding total force, so integration of small forces, integration over entire volume v. q2, that is small charge dq is equal to rho dv upon r square into r cap. If you have to find electric field, then electric field is ratio of force to test charge. So F vector upon Q naught. So that will give you 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught integration rho dV upon r square into r cap. So whenever charge distribution is continuous, at that time we have to use the concept of charge density. If charge is spread over one dimensional space, then we have to use linear charge density. If charge is spread over two dimensional space, then we have to use surface charge density. And if charge is spread on three dimensional space, then we have to use volume charge density. And using this, you can find electric field and electric force at any point. For example, if we take one wire of length L, and if charge is distributed continuously, suppose charge on this wire is Q. Charge on this wire, total charge spread on this wire is Q, and this charge is spread uniformly. It means this charge, if you divide this wire into small portion, then their charge distribution will be same. Charge is distributed uniformly. And here we have to find electric field. Electric field at point P we have to find. And this point P is at a distance A from this end of the wire. Okay, here positive charge is distributed on this wire. So how can we find electric field at point P? So we have to use the concept of linear charge density, because here the charge is distributed over one dimensional space. Thin wire is given. So first of all, we have to find linear charge density. Linear charge density is the ratio of charge to length. Total charge on this wire is Q and length, that is L. So lambda is equal to Q by L, equation number 1. Here, to find electric field at point P, we have to divide this wire into infinite small elements. Here I am taking one small element having length dx, which is at a distance x from this point P. Total length of the wire is L. So charge contained in this small element is, let me take a dq. So first of all, we have to find electric field at point P due to this small charge dq, point charge dq. And we know the formula of electric field at any point due to point charge. That is, electric field is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught charge upon square of distance. Here this dq will be source charge. We know the formula of electric field due to source charge, point charge. Charge in small element. dq is equal to linear charge density into length of small element dx. Lambda already we found from equation 1, that is Q by L. dq is equal to Q by L dx. Electric field at point P due to point charge dq. Electric field due to point charge is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, that point charge dq upon x square. Distance of dq, distance between dq and point P, that is x, therefore x square. Now we have to find electric field at point P due to entire wire. If we have to find electric field due to entire wire, then we have to take the integration of small electric field, that is integration of electric field due to small point charge. d is equal to integration 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught dq. What is dq? Q by L dx. So instead of dq, we can write Q by L dx upon x square. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by L out of the integration a to L plus a 1 upon x square dx. Why we have taken it outside the integration? Because 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, that is constant. Total charge of the wire, that is constant. Length of the wire, that is constant. Integration is with respect to x. So we have to select the limits, that is minimum value of the variable and maximum value. So if we shift line element towards right, then minimum value comes out to be a and maximum value comes out to be L plus a. Let us see the figure. If we want minimum value of x, then we have to shift this element towards right. On this end, if we shift, then length comes out to be a. And if we shift this element towards left, then maximum value we get, that is L plus a. So limit will be from a to L plus a. So 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by L integration of 1 upon x square, that is minus 1 by x a to L plus a. Substitute the limit 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by L, first limit minus 1 upon L plus a minus plus 1 by a. If we take LCM, then we will get answer E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into Q upon A into L plus A. Now special case we can think, that is if point of consideration is very far away from this wire, then A will be much greater than L. If A is much greater than L, then we can neglect this L in comparison to A. Then electric field comes out to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by A square. This is nothing but 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. And this is the formula of electric field due to point charge. So if we consider point very far away from the wire, then this charge distribution which is continuous can be considered as point charge. This is the formula of electric field due to point charge. Thank you.